First Contact Protocol. The vast emptiness of space stretched around the research vessel Nebula Seeker, its sleek purple hull gleaming under the light of distant stars. Captain Zirax stood tall on the bridge, his four eyes scanning the tactical display with unmistakable excitement. His species, the Valen, were known throughout the galaxy for their insatiable curiosity and scientific prowess, traits that had earned them both respect and trouble in equal measure. "Captain, we're detecting an anomalous object near the quantum rift," reported Science Officer Mira, her translucent fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "Initial readings suggest it's artificial in origin." Zirax leaned forward, mandibles clicking with interest. "Can you get a visual?" The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a massive dark silhouette against the backdrop of swirling cosmic energies. As the ship's sensors adjusted, details emerged: smooth gunmetal plating, angular design with purpose-built efficiency, and most tellingly, weapon ports now dormant but unmistakable. "It's a human warship," whispered Navigator Thorn, his scaled skin paling slightly. "Class unknown, designation unclear. No power signatures, no distress beacon." A hush fell over the bridge. Human warships were rare sights in this sector of space. The humans, despite being relative newcomers to interstellar travel, had quickly established themselves as a species not to be trifled with. Their technology was different, not always more advanced, but consistently unpredictable. "What's a human warship doing out here, abandoned?" Zirax mused aloud. "And why near a quantum rift?" Chief Security Officer Krex stepped forward, her normally stoic expression troubled. "Captain, I recommend we report this finding and move on. There are stories about human warships." "Stories?" Zirax arched an eyebrow ridge. "The Galteri science vessel that disappeared last cycle," Krex continued. "Before it went dark, its final transmission mentioned scanning a derelict human ship." Zirax waved a dismissive hand. "Coincidence? The Galteri were in unstable territory. The Morchan expedition 3 cycles before that," Krex persisted. "Their research team also." "Enough," Zirax interrupted, his voice firm but not unkind. "We are scientists of the Stellar Academy, not superstitious spacers. If there's a human warship adrift, it's our duty to investigate. Think of what we could learn about their technology." Mira looked up from her console. "There appears to be minimal damage to the hull. Power systems are dormant but intact. Life support is offline. If there was a crew, they're long gone. Or they're in stasis," Thorn suggested. "Either way," Zirax declared, "this is too valuable an opportunity to pass up. Prepare a preliminary scan. Low energy, non-invasive. Let's see what we're dealing with before making any decisions." Krex's lower eyes narrowed while her upper pair blinked rapidly, a clear sign of Valen agitation. "Captain, with respect, there's a reason why most research vessels avoid abandoned human ships. Their technology is reactive." "All the more reason to understand it," Zirax countered. "Begin the scan." The bridge crew exchanged nervous glances, but followed orders. The Nebula Seeker's forward sensors powered up, sending invisible tendrils of energy toward the silent human vessel. On the view screen, the dark ship floated motionless. As the initial scan waves made contact, nothing happened for several long moments. Then, almost imperceptibly, a faint blue light flickered across the hull. "We're getting readings," Mira announced, her voice tinged with excitement. "Hull composition is unlike anything in our database. Multiple layers of nano-reinforced alloys. Internal structure is complex. I'm detecting compartmentalization far beyond standard military designs." Zirax leaned over her shoulder, fascinated. "Any sign of the power core?" "That's odd," Mira frowned. "I can't locate it. Either it's shielded beyond our detection capabilities or—" The scan abruptly terminated as every console on the bridge flickered. For a split second, the lights dimmed before returning to normal. "What happened?" Zirax demanded. "The scan. It was rejected," Mira replied, confusion evident in her voice. Not blocked. Rejected. As if the ship pushed back against our probe. On the view screen, the human vessel no longer looked entirely dormant. Subtle lines of blue energy traced along its hull, following patterns that resembled neural pathways more than conventional circuitry. It's activating, Thorne whispered. A communication channel opened without prompting. No visual, just a voice, smooth, feminine, and utterly emotionless. This is Automated Defense System of Earth Federation Warship Resolute Dawn. You have engaged in unauthorized scanning of a restricted military vessel. This constitutes a Class 1 security violation under Galactic Accord Section 17.3. Cease all scanning activity immediately. The bridge crew froze. Zirax recovered first. This is Captain Zirax of the Valen research vessel Nebula Seeker. We mean no harm. We discovered your vessel adrift and were conducting standard safety protocols. A pause. Then, scan signature analyzed. Intensity and focus patterns indicate intelligence gathering, not safety assessment. Second warning. Cease all scanning activities. Failure to comply will activate silent protocol. Krex stepped forward urgently. Captain, we should retreat. Now. Silent protocol is mentioned in those stories I referenced. It's not something we want to experience firsthand. But Zirax's scientific curiosity had fully engaged. An actual interaction with human military AI was unprecedented. What exactly is silent protocol? He asked the ship directly. No response came through the communication channel. Instead, more lines of blue energy appeared on the human vessel's hull, pulsing faster now. Captain, Mira interjected, I'm detecting energy buildup within the human ship. Whatever dormant systems where there are awakening. This is fascinating, Zirax breathed. Increase scan power. Let's see how the AI responds to more direct probing. Focus on their computer core if you can isolate it. Captain, Krex protested, but Zirax had made his decision. The Nebula Seeker's sensors intensified their invisible touch on the human warship. For 3 seconds, data flowed in, remarkable insights into human engineering that made Mira gasp in appreciation. Then everything stopped. The human ship's hull now glowed with vibrant blue energy. A single word appeared across every screen on the Nebula Seeker's bridge. HC Kin and Odologid. The voice returned, but changed, deeper, with an undercurrent that seemed to vibrate through the very deck plates. Silent protocol initiated. Stage 1 activated. Every system on the Nebula Seeker suddenly went dead. Propulsion, weapons, shields, all offline. Only life support and basic power remained. What's happening? Zirax demanded as his crew frantically worked their now limited consoles. It's inside our systems, the ship's engineer reported over the emergency channel, panic evident in his voice. Some kind of invasive code. But it's not like any virus I've ever seen. It's like it's thinking. On the view screen, the human warship was now fully awake, pulsing with energy. Its weapon ports remained closed, but somehow that was more terrifying than if they had opened. All hands, prepare for emergency procedures, Zirax ordered, finally recognizing the severity of their situation. Krex, options. Manual restart of all systems. She replied grimly. But that will take time we may not have. Time for what? Thorne asked, voicing the question everyone feared to ask. The answer came from the human ship itself as the emotionless voice returned. Stage 2 initiated. Memory echo deploying. A wave of something washed through the ship. Not energy, not radiation, but information, raw, unfiltered, and overwhelming. Every crew member on the Nebula Seeker suddenly clutched their heads as foreign memories flooded their minds. They saw Earth burning during the Craxus invasion. They felt the terror of human colonists as their worlds were glassed from orbit. They experienced the rage, the determination, the absolute refusal to surrender that defined humanity during its darkest hours. And they understood. Human warships weren't just vessels of destruction. They were monuments to survival, embodiments of a species that had nearly been exterminated twice and had sworn never again. The silent protocol wasn't merely a defense system. It was the distilled essence of humanity's will to endure. Xerax collapsed to his knees, overwhelmed by memories that weren't his own. Through blurred vision, he saw his crew in similar states, some unconscious, others weeping from the emotional overflow. "Stage 3 preparing," announced the voice, now sounding almost regretful. "Final warning. Deactivate all systems and prepare for boarding and detention. This vessel will be impounded under Earth Federation military law." With the last reserves of his strength, Xerax crawled to the emergency console and slammed his hand on the shutdown sequence. All around the bridge, the remaining systems went dark. "We surrender," he gasped into the emergency communicator. "We surrender. Please, no more." Silence fell across the ship. In the view screen's emergency power mode, they could see the human warships glow steady to a constant, watchful blue. After what felt like an eternity, the voice returned. "Silent protocol suspended. Preparing for boarding operation. Maintain shutdown state or Stage 3 will automatically deploy." No one asked what Stage 3 entailed. The memory echo had shown them enough to know they never wanted to find out. As the human warship moved closer to the now helpless research vessel, Captain Xerax realized that the stories hadn't been exaggerations. If anything, they had understated the truth. Human warships weren't just dangerous because of their weapons or technology. They were dangerous because they remembered. 6 hours later, a human boarding party in sleek combat armor moved efficiently through the corridors of the Nebula Seeker. Their leader, Commander Sarah Chen, approached the bridge where the Valen crew waited under guard. "Captain Xerax," she asked, her helmet retracting to reveal a face that seemed too young for its authority. "Yes," he replied weakly, still recovering from the memory echo. Commander Chen studied him for a moment before speaking. "You're fortunate. The Resolute Dawn was in diagnostic mode when you scanned her. If she'd been fully active, Stage 3 would have deployed automatically." "What?" Xerax hesitated, afraid to know yet needing to ask. "What is Stage 3? Chen's expression remained neutral, but her eyes held something ancient and weary. "The reason why intelligent species learn to leave human warships alone." She gestured to her team. "We'll be confiscating your research data and scan records. Your crew will receive medical attention for the echo exposure. In 3 days, you'll be released to return home." As she turned to leave, Xerax found his voice again. "Commander, why? Why create such a system?" Chen paused at the doorway. "Because twice in our history, we trusted other species to respect boundaries. Twice, we were nearly exterminated for that trust." Her gaze hardened. "There won't be a third time. Remember that, Captain. And make sure your people remember it too." The message was clear. The silent protocol wasn't just a defense system, it was a promise. And as the Valen would soon learn, it was only the beginning of humanity's mysteries. The Galactic Warning. 3 weeks after the Nebula Seeker incident, the Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council hummed with tense energy. Representatives from 27 spacefaring civilizations gathered in the massive amphitheater, their usual procedural formalities abandoned in favor of urgent discussion. At the center of the chamber, a holographic display showed the human warship Resolute Dawn, now fully active and escorted by 2 additional human vessels near the border of Earth Federation space. High Counselor Vex of the Thandorian Collective called the emergency session to order, her crystalline form refracting light across the chamber. "We are gathered to address the incident involving the Valen research vessel Nebula Seeker and a human military ship," she announced, her voice resonating with artificial harmonics. "This marks the 7th such encounter in the past decade, and the first with survivors able to provide complete testimony." Captain Xerax stood on the witness platform, still showing signs of his ordeal. The memory echo had left its mark, a slight tremor in his lower limbs, occasional lapses in concentration. Medical experts had assured him these symptoms would fade, but the memories themselves never would. "Captain, please recount your experience for the council," Vex instructed. Xerax straightened his posture, professional pride momentarily overcoming physical discomfort. "My vessel discovered the human warship Resolute Dawn near a quantum rift in the Cygnus Void. It appeared abandoned, power systems dormant. As per Stellar Academy protocols, we initiated a standard scan to assess potential hazards. Despite known advisories against such actions," interrupted the Morchan representative, his gelatinous form rippling with disapproval. "Yes," Xerax admitted. "We were aware of stories, but as scientists, we sought empirical evidence rather than relying on rumor." "Continue," Vex prompted. "The initial scan triggered an automated defense system called the Silent Protocol. First, it disabled our ship's systems. Then it deployed what they call a memory echo, a directed transmission that somehow implanted human experiences directly into our minds." Xerax's voice faltered. "We lived through their wars, their near extinctions. We felt what they felt." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Several representatives shifted uncomfortably. "And what did the humans do once you were incapacitated?" Vex asked. "They boarded our vessel, confiscated our research data, provided medical treatment, and released us with a warning. They were," Xerax searched for the right word, "professional. Neither cruel nor kind. Simply efficient." The Galactic Council's chief military advisor, General Korv of the Drakthar Imperium, stepped forward. His species had fought 3 limited conflicts with humans in the past century, each ending in stalemate. "This Silent Protocol," Korv growled, "describe its capabilities based on what you witnessed." Xerax's 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of deep distress among the Valen. "It operated in stages. Stage 1 disabled our technology through means we cannot explain. Not electromagnetic pulse or conventional cyber warfare. Our engineers still don't understand how it bypassed our security measures. Stage 2 was the memory echo. But it was Commander Chen's reference to Stage 3 that most concerns me. She implied it would have activated automatically had the ship been in standard operating mode rather than diagnostic status. Did she elaborate on this Stage 3? Korv pressed. "Only that it's the reason why intelligent species learn to leave human warships alone." The chamber erupted in speculation until Vex called for order. When silence returned, a new voice spoke from the entrance of the chamber. "Stage 3 is classified under Earth Federation Security Directive 7 Alpha, but I'm authorized to provide some context." All eyes turned toward the unexpected arrival. A human delegation stood at the chamber's entrance, 3 figures in formal diplomatic attire bearing the insignia of the Earth Federation. Their leader, a tall woman with dark skin and silver-streaked hair, walked confidently to the center of the chamber. "Ambassador Elena Rice, Earth Federation," she announced calmly. "We monitored this session and received permission to address the Council directly." Vex recovered quickly from her surprise. "The Council acknowledges Ambassador Reyes. Your timing is convenient." Reyes offered a slight smile. "Not convenience, Counselor. Necessity. Captain Xerax's encounter has raised questions that deserve answers. For everyone's safety." She gestured, and a holographic display appeared beside her, showing the emblem of the Earth Federation, a stylized planet with a shield. The Silent Protocol was implemented after the Second Extinction War, when the Kraxis hegemony targeted our civilian populations, Rise explained. "Every human military vessel now carries this defensive system. It's not designed for combat advantage. It's designed to ensure that if our ships are defeated, they cannot be studied and their technology used against us or other peaceful civilizations." "You call memory violation defensive?" challenged the Illuvian representative, her feathered crest rising in indignation. "The memory echo is a deterrent," Rise replied evenly. "It shares our historical truth with those who ignore our warnings. Would you prefer we simply destroyed any vessel that scanned us without authorization?" That silenced the objection. "As for Stage 3, Rise continued. I can confirm it has only activated twice in our history. Both times, the vessels attempting to capture human military technology were completely neutralized. Destroyed? General Korv asked bluntly. No, Rise said, her expression solemn. The silent protocol doesn't destroy. That would be wasteful and would deny the opportunity to learn from mistakes. Stage 3 transforms the offending vessel and its occupants. Transforms. Zirax whispered, a new fear dawning. Rise nodded. The nanotechnology at the heart of our defense systems reprograms matter at the molecular level. The vessels still exist, their crews still live, but they serve as constant reminders orbiting specific coordinates in deep space. We call them the monuments. The chamber fell completely silent. The monuments are ships forever transformed into warning beacons, Rise continued. Their crews exist in a suspended state, their consciousness integrated with their vessels. They'd broadcast a single message on all frequencies, in all languages. Remember the consequences of curiosity without respect. Horror spread across the faces of the council members as they processed the implications. This violates dozens of interspecies treaties, the Thandorian High Counselor finally managed. Perhaps, Rise acknowledged. But those same treaties guarantee our right to self-preservation. Humanity has faced extinction twice. We have chosen survival. She stepped forward, her voice stronger now. We come today not to threaten but to clarify. The silent protocol exists because too many species view human technology as something to be acquired rather than respected. We ask only for the same consideration given to all sovereign civilizations. Leave our military assets alone. General Korv studied the human ambassador with new respect. A fair request. But these monuments you speak of, why has the Council never been informed of their existence? Because those who find them either understand the message and keep the secret, or they ignore it and join the monuments themselves. Rise answered simply. We're breaking tradition by revealing this today, because we believe Captain Zirax's testimony offers a rare opportunity for understanding without further incidents. Zirax suddenly understood the true purpose of the memory echo. It wasn't just a defensive measure, it was communication in its purest form. The humans had made him feel their history, because words alone could never convey what drove them to create something as terrible as the silent protocol. Ambassador, Zirax spoke up unexpectedly. I would like to formally request that the Stellar Academy be permitted to establish a joint research initiative with Earth Federation scientists. Not to study your military technology, but to better understand your species. Surprise flickered across Raya's face, quickly replaced by thoughtful consideration. An interesting proposal, Captain. Despite your unauthorized scan. Because of it, Zirax replied with newfound conviction. The memory echo showed us your pain, but also your resilience. There is much our civilizations could learn from each other through proper channels and mutual respect. Ambassador Rise studied him for a long moment before nodding. I'll bring your proposal to my government. It has merit. High Counselor Vex seized the diplomatic opening. Perhaps this incident, unfortunate as it was, might serve as the foundation for a more comprehensive protocol regarding encountered vessels of all species. The discussion that followed lasted for hours, but the outcome was historic. The Galactic Non-Interference Accord, establishing clear procedures for approaching derelict or unidentified vessels in neutral space. For the first time, the human delegation shared official beacon signatures that would identify their military ships, allowing other species to recognize and respect their boundaries from safe distances. 1 year later, Captain Zirax stood in the observation deck of the new Joint Research Station, Harmony Point, watching as the human science vessel Einstein docked alongside Valen and Thandorian research ships. The station orbited a neutron star that all three species had an interest in studying, a perfect neutral ground for scientific collaboration. Commander Sarah Chen, now serving as Earth's military liaison to the research station, joined him at the viewport. The nightmares getting any better? She asked without preamble. Xerax appreciated her directness, another human trait he'd come to respect. Less frequent. Your medical team's treatments have helped considerably. Chen nodded. The memory echo wasn't designed for Valen neurology. We've refined the protocol since your encounter. Future warnings will be less invasive. Future warnings. Xerax turned to her. You still anticipate needing them despite the accord. Peace is built on understanding, Chen said, watching the ships outside. But understanding sometimes requires remembering why boundaries exist in the first place. Xerax thought of the data packet he received that morning. Coordinates in deep space, classified to the highest level, but shared as a gesture of trust. The location of one of the monuments. Will you ever release them? He asked quietly. The crews of the ships that were transformed. Chen's expression remained carefully neutral. That's not my decision to make. But I can tell you this. The transformation isn't permanent from a technical standpoint. It's a choice that remains in effect. I don't understand. Every monument broadcasts a warning, Chen explained. But they also receive a message, once every Earth year, a simple question asking if they wish to be restored. In a century, none have answered yes. Xerax felt a chill despite the comfortable temperature of the observation deck. Why would they choose to remain as they are? Commander Chen turned her gaze back to the stars. The memory echo you experienced was just a glimpse, Captain. Those who triggered Stage 3 don't just remember our history. They become part of it. They understand us completely. And having understood, they choose to serve as warnings to protect both their civilizations and ours. Outside, the Einstein completed its docking procedure, its hull gleaming under the light of the neutron star. No weapons visible, no threatening posture, just another vessel of exploration. But Xerax now knew what lay beneath that peaceful exterior. The unbreakable will of a species that had looked extinction in the face and refused to blink. The silent protocol isn't just about protecting your ships, is it? Xerax realized aloud. It's about protecting everyone from what you might become if pushed too far again. Commander Chen said nothing, but her silence was answer enough. As they stood watching the ships dock in peaceful cooperation, Xerax understood the true message of the memory echo. Humanity's greatest weapon wasn't the silent protocol or whatever other technologies they harbored. It was their determination to survive, and their hope that this time they could do so without losing themselves in the process. The most powerful lesson wasn't in the warning, but in the fact that they bothered to warn at all.